Hi guys, my name is Juliet. Today I'm going to be doing my testimony about how God saved me. I've been pushing it back for so long, but today's the day. So I hope this lighting isn't weird. So, I'm going to start with my childhood. Basically, I was raised in a very Buddhist household, and it was a very traditional thing, just like because they're Burmese, like that's basically why my parents believed the things they did. And they were very strict about Buddhism. They weren't very strict about its teachings and stuff, like to be kind, to be peaceful, things like that. They weren't very strict on those things, but they were strict about going to festivals or going to temples. So that's how I was raised. But even as a kid, like, I never truly believed in Buddhism. I never truly believed in any god. I never questioned it. I was a very like intelligent minded girl. So I would think of science and stuff, things like that. I basically cursed God. I said, no way, he's real. I hate Christians. I hate God. I would call him names and things like that. As my parents and our generations before us were not Christian, they created a lot of generational things, and I carried that burden. As a kid, I was like 7 or 8. I was exposed to sexual sin. I was exposed to sexual images, things like that, and that basically changed me and had a bondage on me since I was a kid, basically a baby, all the way to my teenage years. Other sins like anger, idolatry, those things also carried with me. They actually started when I was very young, and all these sins really took a toll on me even when I was a kid, even when I was in elementary school, like 3rd, 4th grade. I don't think that's something that's natural. I don't think that's something that should be natural, because it was something that I had to go through because of the enemy's chokehold on my family and on my life. And my household, I wouldn't say, was very loving, because we're a very angry family, a very angry household. We would always argue, we would always yell, throw things, that's the type of household I lived in. I have a history of divorce, cheating, anger, death, all that stuff. We have a lot of that. And basically, growing up as a kid around all that stuff, I was very confused, because my parents are not really the affectionate type. They would yell at me for small things. They would do this to me and stuff like that. And it made me feel worthless, even as a kid. Even since I was like 11, I had thoughts of self-worthlessness, and like why am I being treated this way? Like, what did I do? Like, why do people who are supposed to love me, they're not loving me the way they're supposed to? Like, they're my parents. Like, I was not a dumb girl. Like, I understood, like, I'm from an Asian household. I understood that my parents are going through hard times, and they provided for me. They supported my education and things like that, but how come they didn't truly love me? Like, why did they keep hurting me? Why did they keep yelling at me, even as a kid? Like, I understood that I was a kid. I was like 10, and I was like, it was just really confusing for me. So thoughts of like self-worthlessness and isolation started coming up since I was in elementary school. And the thing was, like, since I was just a kid, and since I didn't truly know who Jesus was, I was unaware that I would never really feel love. I would never really know love, because I was searching for it within people who did not know Jesus, within people who did not know love, basically. So as I grew older, I stopped searching for things that would make me happy. I stopped searching for things that would make me feel love. Instead, I went to the emotion that I knew the best of, basically like sadness, anger, depression, and I lingered in it. Basically, I didn't want to change. I wanted to stay angry at my dad. I wanted to argue with him all the time. I wanted to continue to listen to depressing music, continue to be sad every single night, and that was what I was most comfortable with. And it led me to a lot of depression, and just basically going every day, crying, arguing, just all this. And my dad had also struggled with alcohol, and he had taken that anger that he got while drunk on me and my sister. Every time, it really did hurt me, because even as a kid, I knew I should be disciplined. We're in an Asian household, like, this is the way that we function. But I ask over and over and over, like, why? Like, I'm like 9, 10 years old, and I'm being hit by my dad, I'm being abused by my mom and my dad, I'm being yelled at, things like that. And that just made me think, like, why do I deserve it? A common like Buddhist teaching was that anything we did was karma, basically, based on what we did in our old life. And I would always pray to whatever God. I would be like, please forgive me for what I did in my old life. I don't know what I did to deserve this. And it was hard. I was just a kid, and I was praying to Buddha to forgive me for something I did in my past. And it didn't make sense to me because I didn't know what I did in my past. So I was like, why do I have to deal with all this pain and suffering if I'm not the one who truly did it? Like, I don't even remember. Like, I'm not the same soul that I was before. And it really hurt me. And I didn't want to live like that. Like, I didn't want to live in a family with all that. I didn't want to live with depression anymore. And I was a kid, basically. But I didn't know in truth that there was actually a God who already forgave me for everything, who already sacrificed everything for me and loved me. And he was behind the scenes. No, actually he was very prevalent in my life, but I just never had the eyes to see that. So while trying to figure all this stuff out, I started searching for love and happiness within worldly things instead. I started wanted to satisfy myself with things of the world, and that never satisfied me. I would always be sad at the end of the day. I would always be mad at the end of the day, and I never really felt full or refreshed, basically. As I entered middle school and I was encountered by a bunch of new people, a bunch of new things, I started exploring more things. In middle school, like, I started focusing so much on my appearance, on how much people would like me, how much likes I got on my TikTok, things like that. And it really just made me idolize these things and look for happiness with things that never truly satisfied me. While all that was happening, I was still really unhappy. I was still really sad. I would go home and do these things to myself. I started since middle school. I gave in basically one day, and I started to harm myself. I started to cut myself, basically, my arms, my legs, and it was not like a whenever I was sad thing or whenever I would do it all the time. And I felt comfort with that. I felt comforted that doing that gave me a feeling, that because like I couldn't truly feel happiness, but when I did it, I got like adrenaline, I got fear, I got pain, and that was like a feeling that I was used to. So as I grew up, like 10, 11, like my dad just stopped hitting us because like we're old enough now, you know, like you're not really in the age to get hit anymore. But when I turned like 12, and I thought like, oh, I'm in the free, you know, I'm not in, I don't have to worry about getting hit anymore. Me and my dad still constantly argued. We still constantly got mad at each other. And one day we got into a really big argument and he was really mad. But I kept provoking him and angering him. And that day he hurt me really bad, like in a way that like even as a kid I never experienced. But he would kick me over and over and just like used a lot of things to hurt me that day. And I just kept saying sorry. Like I was like, sorry, like please, like sorry. And he hurt me really bad. And I had like after that I had like bruises on my ribs. Like I couldn't inhale because like I think he hurt one of my ribs really bad, and it hurt to just like do anything basically, because yeah. And that moment on, like everything went down, like really downhill, like with my harming myself and friends from middle school. Like I was able to hold on, but after that had happened to me at home, it was really hard for me. Like I didn't want to hold on anymore. Like so after that I basically stopped eating for a while. I just stayed in my room. I didn't go outside. I didn't talk to my parents. And when I did go in my room, all I did was cry and harm myself. So what I can say. But yeah, so I would just go to my room and just cry. All I did was cry. Like I didn't do anything else. I just cried. I played sad music in the darkness, basically. And I would wake up, get ready for school, go to school like nothing happened. But people could tell something happened because when you cry, like, you know, your face gets really puffy and your eyes really swollen. And I remember going to school that week just with puffy eyes and puffy face that whole week. And people would just keep asking me like, oh, like what happened, you know? And I just brushed it off. I never told anybody about my problems, and I just kept to myself because I knew that anything I said could get my parents in trouble, get me in trouble. So I just kept the feelings all to myself, basically, which is not healthy at all. I remember one night I went home and it was Saturday. It was finally a weekend, and everything had built up, all my emotions had built up, my thoughts like finally got to me, and I had decided on that day I was basically going to die. So I kept a journal, basically just like venting all of my emotions and things like that. But on that day, like when I had decided that, you know, I remember writing things to my family, my parents, my friends, to everyone individually, and I had made letters to them because on that day I was gonna finally kill myself. So I wrote letters for everyone, and I teared it out of the journal and I placed it on my bed. And I wasn't really sure how to die. Like I didn't want to do something that would really cause me a lot of pain. Like I know I was inflicting pain on myself, but like doing something like with a rope or doing something with a knife just felt really scary, and I didn't want to do that. So I decided I would go easy, and I wasn't aware of how much medication could kill you, but basically I had taken like, it sounds silly, but 5, 6 pills, and it was Advil. So I don't think doing that really affected my body at all, but in my head, like I was like, okay, well now I'm ready to die, you know. After I had taken those pills, I sat on my bed, I closed the light, and I just kept cutting myself. Like I just kept carving myself deeper and deeper, just crying and saying all these things to myself. I was like, basically in my head I was like, God, like this is what I deserve, right? Like this is what you wanted, because you never came and saved me. And later, as I was cutting, I was waiting for something to happen. My mom had knocked on my door and she said, Julia, take out point, please. And she said please, and my mom, like, when I say we're not affectionate, I mean like they don't say I love you, they don't say please, like we don't laugh at each other's jokes and things like that. Like we're very secluded and unaffectionate family. So especially my mom. So when I heard her say please, like I was looking like bitter. I was like God, like the day I decide to die, you're gonna nice my mom up all for me. So after like several rounds of knocking, I had to put my pants on really quick, and like I put my sleeves back down and everything, and I opened the door and she was just standing there. And my mom knew I had bruises and stuff, like you know, she was holding like Tiger Balm, basically. It was like the blue version of Tiger Balm, or whatever it's called. She was standing on my door and she was holding it because she was gonna apply it on my bruises. Basically, she said to me in Burmese, like, why don't I come out of my room anymore? Why am I not eating? And things like that. And I basically just said, you guys don't care about me anymore, like, you know, like I'm gonna die. I told her I'm gonna die soon, and I don't think she understood what that meant, but I just told her, Mom, I'm gonna die soon. Like I really thought I was about to drop dead in that conversation with her. And then we had sat down on my bed, and she was like, Julia, like tell me why you're sad, tell me why you're crying all the time. And I was like, well, because of this and this and this. And I was explaining to her, like, basically, like, your husband hurt me, like my dad hurt me a lot, and no one ever checked up on me, nobody cared, and now all of a sudden you want to care. Like I was really angry. My mom was like, Julia, like she said, like, you know, we care about you, things like that. And basically after some talking, she was like, put up like lift up your shirt, like so she could see my bruise, and like so she could apply the Tiger Balm on my bruises. And I had told her, like, no, I don't want to. And she kept asking me why. And then like after some while I was like, okay, like I'll show you. And I told her, please don't be mad, and I'm sorry. I just kept saying I'm sorry. And I lifted up all my stuff, and like it was so recent that it like stuck to me because the blood was like stuck. And she just kept asking me, like, why, like what do you gain from this, like why did you do this to yourself, blah, blah. And she kept asking me that question, and I just kept saying, like, I don't know, like I don't know. I just kept saying I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know. And then yeah, and she was like, how can you cut yourself to face her? She's like, what, like, you know we care about you, and like we never truly meant to hurt you. Like she had said, like, in Burmese, she said, I know Papa gets mad at you and we hit you sometimes, but that doesn't mean we don't care about you. We still love you and things. And that was like the first time I heard her say I love you, and it really made me like emotional. And I had told my mom why do you guys keep doing this? Like, can you guys just change some things? So after that, my mom had hugged me and she told me she loved me and that she was sorry. And that was the first time I had ever heard her say something like that. So I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna live. So out of embarrassment, I put all the papers back in my notebook. And I had the notebook a couple days ago when I was going through my old books. I saw that journal and I read back everything, and I felt so much sympathy for myself because I truly was just a kid who was confused, and I was about to end my life over something like that. And yet, regardless of my mom's background, of her history, that day my mom transformed into a complete different person that I didn't know, and God really used her to save me. And I don't know, like, now that I'm looking back at it, he really did save me. And like, regardless of who it was, what it was, like, he used someone that wasn't qualified to keep me here, and I think that's really beautiful. But you know, after that didn't last. My mom continued to argue, my dad continued to argue, but it got a lot less. And I continued like going to depressive states every now and then, but like arguments with my parents, like, they slowed down. And entering high school, I was still unhappy. I had new friends. I had just gotten into my first ever relationship with this guy, and I like observed their lives, like they were having happy lives, they had happy families, but I still didn't, and I was really confused. And there was one thing about all of them that stuck out to me. It was their religion. So I started being more curious because of that. I was like, so who is God? Like, who is truly Jesus? Because like, what do you mean, like, these people are Asian and they have happier lives than me? Like, that does, like, what do you mean your parents didn't keep hitting you, you know? And I made me curious, and I started really looking into God, and I started asking my friends questions, my boyfriend questions, and things like that. Like, one of my friends, like, she didn't curse, and that made me like uncomfortable. That truly, like, she didn't curse. Like, she didn't just say she didn't curse, but she really didn't. And I was like, it made me convicted to curse around her. And like, my friends did other things, like they would go to church, they had like lifelong friends, and I was like, wow, like, this Jesus guy seems like he really loves you guys. I kept learning about him. I got the Bible app, I kept watching all these videos, and I would always watch videos that say, like, if you speak with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, then you'll be in a relationship with him, you'll be in covenant with him. And I wanted that relationship with God. Like, I wanted that relationship, but for my own purpose. I wanted to feel love. But as I kept reading the Bible, I would read the Bible every day. I would do all these things, but I never truly prayed. I never truly searched for him. And then one day, as me and my boyfriend, who wasn't devoted as well, we had a very angry relationship, a very sinful relationship. And one day we got into an argument, and I had ended the call feeling very tired of everything, because like everything in my old life was happening again, and my world just felt like it was collapsing basically. So, but you know, I read the Bible, so I was like, so where is this love that I'm supposed to feel? Like, why is nothing changing? Until finally I just couldn't take it anymore, and I got down on my knees and I truly prayed to him, and I cried out to him. I was asking him, like, Lord, like, I'm doing all these things, I'm doing what you tell us to do, but I don't feel you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel your love. I don't feel what everyone's talking about. And that's when like his love truly embraced me. When I was crying out to him, he truly embraced me, and I truly felt his love. Like, it was like something I never really felt before, and I can't really explain it, but it's just like filled my heart. And like, I always heard that he loves us, and so that people will get embraced by him in testimonies and stuff. But I never truly had felt him before, and when I truly did, I was like, oh shoot, like, you're actually real. Like, I'm not tripping. I was like relieved. Like, I finally felt this God that everyone's talking about. He had given me this revelation, like, while I was praying, that I don't have to earn his love. Like, I keep thinking that love was earned because for my parents, like, if I was a good kid, then maybe they would have yelled at me. If I was nice to these people, then maybe they'd be my friend. But for God, he had spoke to me that he was always there for me. He's been there for me forever, and he loved me. And it was a love that I couldn't replace. It was a love that I couldn't earn, but he already loved me just because of who I was and not because of what I do. And I was like, I was really in awe because I never had experienced a love like that. I had never felt a love like that before. I was really happy. Like, after that, like, I couldn't deny it anymore. Like, I knew he existed because of how he encountered me, how he spoke to me. Like, I was just like, after that, I was like, okay, like, now that I know he's real, there's nothing else I want to devote my life to. There's no one else I want to live for anymore. Like, I know this God is real, and I already knew so much about him. And after I felt him, I was like, okay, like, I never felt a love like you before, Lord, and I just want to keep my eyes on him forever after that. That's when I truly had fell in love with Jesus, and I fell in love with who he was, because I realized, like, shoot, like, he really did save me. He really was there for me my entire life, and I don't have to earn his love. And that just made me want to live for him. Like, my friends and the people around me did truly help me with how I found Jesus, but God found me first. Like, God was there for me first. God saved me. He took the initiative to come out and take me when I didn't want to be taken. I didn't want to be saved. I didn't want to be loved by this God, and he loved me anyway. There's so many people in my life that I'm so grateful for that planted a seed, but all credit truly goes to God for sending those people to my life, for giving them purpose in my life and leading me closer to him. And that was like freshman year. Freshman year summer. After that, like, my faith just grew. Like, I started reading my Bible for him, and not for to feel love for myself, but instead because I loved him so much. I started looking into churches I could go to. I started truly praying to him with a heart of repentance. And as my faith grew, I didn't fit into things that I was before I was truly saved. And things like my relationship, things like old friends, like, I didn't really fit in with them anymore. I just felt like they were weighing me down in a way. Like, my relationship, I truly do care for him still, and I truly do, and he's not like this anymore, but before, it was really hard for me to carry his burdens to the Lord for him when he couldn't do it himself. I felt like a lot of pressure to try to lead us, and I wasn't perfect. I was far from perfect. I led our relationship to a lot of arguments and things, but I knew that our relationship wasn't glorifying the Lord, and I didn't want to stay there anymore. And I felt very dependent on him, because our relationship did last very long, and I felt very dependent on him leading us and him doing all these things, but I didn't truly have that intimacy with God. And after I felt him for the first time personally, I was like, well, now I want to submit to you, Lord. But I didn't want to just submit to a man, submit to a man that didn't truly that wasn't truly devoted yet. And so I had broken up with him, and it was a very rough breakup, but after I broke up with him, I felt very free. I would say I felt very released from chains from my old self, and I was able to further deepen my intimacy with God without being distracted or any of these things. And I have so much, like, love for that person still, and he is doing so many good things for God's kingdom. But truly, I feel like our purpose in each other's lives were already filled, and I'm so grateful that God had put me through that season to see his face better, to realize, like, I don't have to search for love within men or people anymore, but instead that God loved me eternally, forever, and he has always loved me. And I continue to grow in God. I continue to hunger for him more. I started getting a little more bold about my faith, and my family really didn't like that. Like, I remember I brought home a Bible for the first time, and my mom had found it, and she really didn't like the thought of me being Christian. But as I continued to grow, and as I continued to just yearn for only God, I was more bold about my faith. I would say I was like, I didn't care if they found out I was Christian anymore. I just straight up told them, and we got into a lot of like disputes about that and a lot of arguments about it. I was like, I really didn't care about what they thought about me anymore, because truly, like, I knew God was real. I knew he was with me. For a couple months of that argument and disputes and there's a bunch of tension in the air about my faith and stuff. And I would never like push it on to them. I would never do anything. I didn't even go to church during this time, although my devotion for God was so strong and my faith was so strong. I would only attend online church, and I understood the importance of fellowship and having a community, but I didn't really have that. And I just had, everything was really like stored up within me. I could only talk to God about things I learned, but like God already knew. I wanted to tell other people, and I just yearned for God's people. But with my family, I couldn't do that. I continued to stay in that environment until one day my parents had gotten really mad about something that happened, and it had started a really big argument. And my parents, just because I had my Bible in my hands, they had started bringing my faith. And then like I defended my faith, but I didn't get really angry with them, because I already understood that they don't have God within them, so like they can't truly love me the way that I think they can, or they can't truly love me the way that I know I can be loved by God. So I didn't really say anything or do anything, but they just kept getting angry at me. Like I would say things like, "Oh, that's not fair." Like I said things back to them, but I tried not to get angry at them and things. And while they were arguing, like when I get anxious, I tend to play with my necklace, and like I was playing with the string of it, but my shirt was covering my cross, because I had a really big cross necklace at the time, and my shirt was covering my cross. And I was playing with it, and my cross had basically flipped out of my shirt, and he exploded. Basically, he was like, "You better take that cross off. Like, in my house, you can't wear that. You can't read your Bible. Stop." He just got really mad. He was like angry that I wasn't talking. He was angry about all these things that I was doing. He just felt like I was disrespecting him for not following in the faith that he had. He basically said no. I was just like, every time he just kept telling me like, "Throw away your Bible." I said no. He said, "Throw away your cross." I said no. He had just gotten really mad, and he said, "Whoa, the police guys." Gotten really mad, and he had gave me an ultimatum. He had said, either you throw away your Bible and your cross, or you leave my house. So I had told my dad, I said, "I'm not throwing my Bible, I'm not throwing my cross." I said, "I'll leave your house." My parents, usually they bluff about stuff like this, but this time I knew they weren't kidding. I knew they were being serious, and they just kept saying things like, "Oh, you'll choose this fake God over us. You'll choose Jesus over us," is what they kept saying. They kept saying I wasn't their daughter anymore. They kept telling me like I'm not welcome in their house anymore and things, and that did truly hurt me. But like in my head, I had peace knowing that I was standing up for my faith, and I was standing up for who I believed in, and I wasn't gonna trip about it, because I knew God had me. I was like, well, I don't really know where to go, and I had thought like, oh, like if I kicked out, I can just leave. They had literally in that exact second, they walked me to my room. They gave me a suitcase, and they made me start packing things. And I remember packing the most useless stuff. Like I didn't know what to pack, bro. I just packed my clothes. I just stuffed it all in, closed it, and I just, and I was like, okay, well, drop me off at my friend's house. I'll stay at my friend's house. And they said no, like they said you're gonna stay at a temple. I was like, temple? Like, what do you mean temple? And they had found a temple that basically just where they keep kids who don't know how to obey. They don't know how to be disciplined. So basically boot camp, but for Buddhists, I guess. And that's what they had told me. And I said, oh heck no, like, like I'm not staying there. Like if I'm fighting for my faith, then what's the point? Instead I was like, can I just stay at my aunt's house? But my aunt lives all the way in Indiana, but my sister was here at the time because it was her summer break, but my sister was in Indiana. I was like, so can I stay with my aunt instead, like, can I stay with my aunt? Because if you're gonna keep me out, and my aunt's a very like chill person, and she's very Americanized, so I felt comfortable living there instead because she wouldn't judge me based on my religion, and she knew I was Christian and she never judged me for it. I asked my parents that, and they had said, oh, like, no, you can't. Like, I already asked her, she said no. And I didn't really believe them because of the way she said it, so I had called my aunt. Like, I'd closed the door. Like, they were watching me pack, so I just closed the door, and I called my aunt, and I said, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I just got kicked out. Can you, like, take me in? And she was like, wait, what happened? And I was like, because I knew that they didn't truly tell her. And I told her, I said, well, I told her the whole story, basically, like, really fast. Like, can I go to your house? Like, can I just stay there? And she had said, yeah, of course, you know, she's a very loving person. I'm so grateful for her. And she had said, yeah. So I told my mom, I was like, well, like, they all said yeah, so can I go to Indiana? And my mom, like, she had to call my aunt and be like Julia's all this and stuff, but my aunt did not care. She said, I'm so grateful for my aunt. My aunt has said you can't force her to believe in what you believe. You can't force her to be a certain religion, you know? After packing all my things, my uncle had took me in his car to drive, and it was a really silent car ride, like, because my mom was in the passenger seat, and but nobody said anything. Nobody said a single word. My dad had shut off the phone bill, like, as soon as I left the house. Like, my dad to the T-Mobile place, and he turned off my data, so I couldn't really text anybody. I couldn't tell anybody what was going on. The last things I had said to my sister was like, hey, I just got kicked out, I'm coming to Indiana. Basically they had driven me to Indiana, and it was a 6-hour drive. So I got here, and on the way here I felt like, I thought I would be sad. I thought I'd be hurt. Like deep down I was hurt because of the things my parents had said, because of, like, hey, like, you know, like, I know I'm a different faith, I know I'm a different religion, but, like, I'm still your daughter, and I thought they'd still truly care for me and not kicking me out like this, you know? Like, they never truly did anything like that before. When they did that, I was like, you know, I'm hurt by the way you're treating me, but I knew that they couldn't love me in the way that I wanted to be loved. I still knew that they were angry in their own hearts, and that's just something I had to deal with because of them not being able to find Jesus and experience Jesus for himself. So I wanted to be graceful towards them, so I didn't want to hold any bitterness towards them. My parents are such good people, and I have so much love for them, like, still, and they did truly provide for me and support me throughout my life. But during that time I was hurt, but I knew that I was okay, excited that I was gonna have a new beginning. Like, I kept thinking, like, I can finally practice my faith in the open without getting, like, you know, like, yelled at and stuff. I don't have Spotify premium, so I just, like, sometimes it glitches or something, and I just listen to the same song. And I was listening to Firm Foundation, and I was getting tired because I kept listening over and over, but the only part that stuck to me was, like, I'm gonna make it through. And that low-key, like, it just, like, comforted me. Like, while I was going there, I read my Bible. Like, I did not care that my mom was, like, low-key judging me, but I was just, like, I knew God had me in his hands. I knew that God was bringing me to a new season, and I was grateful. Like, I was grateful that he gave me a way out, and, like, that I can go out and spread my light to another place. And that's basically why I'm in Indiana. Like, a bunch of people, I haven't told a bunch of people because I wanted to make sure that the impact with my testimony was, like, strong, but a lot of people had been asking me why I moved to Indiana. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at right now. After I came to Indiana, I went upstairs, my sister in her room, in our room. They cleared out a room for us, and I went up to our room and I was like, hey, and she was like, okay, basically what happened. So I just had told her everything that happened, and all my friends had supported me throughout this. A lot of people turned against me because of it. There was a lot of things that went on after that, and I'm still so grateful. Like, I wouldn't ask for anything else. I wouldn't ask to change the way that anything that happened before, because it did truly lead me to this wonderful house, to live with these wonderful people. And I'm so grateful that I have a supporting aunt, and although she may not be religious herself, that she was able to love me, and I had someone to do that, able to take me in and allow me to practice my religion freely. And after I came here, I made so many new friends. I'm going to a new school. I finally found a church, and those people are like family to me. I'm so grateful I found them, And I'm so grateful that God led me here, because I truly feel like this is where God has placed me, and that this is my purpose. Like, my purpose is to spread his love and his light to like everyone, and he placed me in a new place to do that, and I'm so grateful he placed me here. I'm so grateful that that day happened, because truly, like, I do miss so many people. I'm gonna miss everyone from my old state. I wanted to move back. I wanted to stay there, but I wanted to go back and see everyone and just like stay in Kentucky. But I knew that God placed me in Indiana with purpose, with meaning, and I was just grateful that everything had happened. And I miss everyone so much, and everyone has been asking me and I only told a couple people what truly happened, but to everyone else, basically, this is what happened, and this is why I'm in Indiana, basically. And I do miss everyone so much, and I pray that we are able to meet again. But I know that God got me through, and he had a plan for me throughout my entire life. He delivered me from pride, insecurity, lust, and now I have an identity that I didn't have to find within this world, but instead an identity from someone who already had one for me, and that's from God, who already called me to be his, and he already called me to be the light of the world and to worship him for all of eternity. And that's something I am so grateful that God saved me. He called me, he gave me identity, he called me worthy, he called me beautiful in my own way, and I didn't have to search for that within the world anymore. And I'm so grateful for our dad, and that he saved me, that he gave me a plan. He gave me worth when I never felt worthy. He gave me purpose when I felt useless in my life. And even in the seasons of breaking, even in the seasons of people turning against you, he always had a plan for me, and he was still building me throughout all of that. He's still building us. And within all of this, like, I can't thank him enough. I can't thank him for everything that he's put me through. I can't thank him for everything that he's gotten me out of. And he's always gotten me out of it and healed me 10 times better. He's always been providing for me and supporting me and blessing me throughout my entire life. And there's nothing I can do to show how grateful I am for him, and the fact that he saved me from everything. And he's someone who heard my cries, who heard my prayers, and even in my disobedience, even in my hatred towards him, even in my anger towards him, he cared. He gave me a purpose. And I hope that my testimony encourages you guys, my brothers and sisters, that you guys are able to walk through this life knowing that you're in the hands of someone who already knows what they're doing with you, who already has a plan for you, who has a purpose for you, and that as his children, we should move by faith and not by worries about what the world says about us or what happens to us, but instead that we're living for God, that we're blessed to have partnership with God, to be a friend of God. And that's something I don't want you guys to forget or take for granted, because truly he does want a relationship with each and every single one of you guys, and he's called us to be his. And while I'm not perfect, and while I still fall into sin every day and struggle to deny my flesh, he has taken me from such a low point of my life, of who I was, of who I thought I was, to someone that can truly glorify and honor his name. And I just love him so much for that. Like, I'm not perfect in any way, but I wanted to share how he made me clean, how he removed these chains in my life and gave me new life. He has so much more to offer than anything of this world, and I hope my testimony showed you guys that he can provide you joy. He gave me so much joy. He gave me so much peace, even in the suffering, even in the breaking. He always had his eyes on me. He always protected me and was sovereign over my life. That's something that filled my heart more than anything in my past that I wanted. That's something that filled my soul, my mind, with his goodness and grace and wisdom. And I just pray that this message reaches you guys, and that you guys are able to move by faith and be encouraged by my testimony about how God moved through my life, through my story. So yeah, that's basically my testimony, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. if you guys see me tearing up, please don't clip me. But I'm glad I was finally able to do this because I kept pushing it off. But I truly wanted to be vulnerable with you guys and not be ashamed of what God put me through, because truly it is such a blessing to be his vessel and to be in partnership with him. So I hope this encourages everyone and impacts your guys' faith, and that you guys are able to continue to keep your eyes on the Lord. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you all.